Benny? We're in order. We'll now call the Traffic and Parking Commission meeting to order. We welcome all the commissioners here and welcome our staff. Welcome those in the audience and the proper time, and we'll be happy to hear from each of you as it deals with your respective item on the agenda. If you're not satisfied with a decision made by the Traffic and Parking Commission, you may appeal the decision by filing for a writ of certiorari with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Commission's decision. We advise that you seek your own independent legal advice to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. Do I have an approval of today's agenda?
So moved.
Have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Take a vote. All in favor? Everybody voted? Okay. On approval of the minutes of the December the 10th meeting.
I move to approve.
Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, carry. We have several here. Who's here today in our audience on the 12 South Residential and Business Parking? Okay. I want to ask for a staff report.
Well, Diane has been managing this project for us. She stepped out for a second, but I'll give you the update as far as I know. A few months back, we met here in this forum to discuss the balance between residential parking needs versus business parking needs in an area that is shared use, to say the least. If you're not familiar with 12th Avenue South, it's grown pretty quickly. That's the good news. The other news is that when you have growth such as this, the parking spills over into the neighborhood, maybe more than the neighbors want it to. And so in other areas like this, we go out and take what we call an engineering study to see if there's a reason. We get a request to prohibit parking on the street or to limit the parking on the street, and we look through our little technical reasons to do that or not do that. And in this case, the road width and the utility locations and X, Y, and Z did not add up to us flagging this as a no parking area because of an engineering reason. Emergency vehicles can get through there. There's not a bike lane, that kind of thing. So we rely on our in-house reasoning, and we say if all the neighbors agree, or if we get a 75% petition, then we will bring it before the commission and let the commission decide whether we should make this residential parking only, prohibit parking outright, or leave it as is. As we were going through that process and we received the petition, and it took a while, it's a big neighborhood, we presented the commission the petition, and the businesses came in and said, hold on, we have a voice too, and that's exactly what we want to happen in this arena. So, fast forward a few months, we've let the businesses meet with the residents and vice versa. And from what I understand, and I don't want to put words in the mouth of the public or the businesses, but from what I understand, we have a request for a deferral this month. But we have to throw that up open to the microphone there. So what we have, business parking spilling over into a residential area. The residents want 2-hour parking or permit parking only. Right now it has not been approved. It is at this status, it is in a deferral state being presented to the commission.
Okay. As recommended, it has been recommended to us that this be deferred, but is anyone here today would like to speak to that? And if so, would you please go to the lectern to my right and your left. Be sure the mic is on, and we'll open this for public hearing, and each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes.
My name is Berkeley Allen. I live at 3521 Byron Avenue. I'm councilperson for the 18th District, which abuts this area. I was at a public meeting with Sandra Moore, who is the councilperson for this district. She and I are both trying to make it to Budget and Finance meetings, so she asked me if I would speak for the two of us on this topic. The neighbors met on Saturday based on the deferral that we had gotten in the past month, and I feel like there was good discussion in terms of laying out what the concerns are, what some possible solutions are. Those include looking at different types of residential permit parking. They include trying to provide more parking in the area that the merchants would be needing some help from council members with zoning and code changes to put in place. So based on that discussion, there was a suggestion of deferring for some amount of time, and I will leave that to y'all to determine what that amount of time needs to be to see if we can continue to work on solutions. I will let the residents themselves speak to that, but based on the conversation that we had, I think that's a very reasonable approach, and I think that a deferral could give us time to come up with a solution that would be supportive both of the neighbors' needs for parking convenient to their homes and for the businesses' needs for convenient parking for their customers. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Michael Dolan, and I am one of the owners of Mafiosos. I'm also an attorney. I represent a number of businesses on 12 South, and I submitted a response in opposition. I want to thank Councilmember Allen. I think she made an accurate depiction of where we are. I think we're having some very productive discussions with all the interested businesses and the residents and the council members, both Sandra Moore as well, Councilwoman Sandra Moore. We don't have an objection if the commission determines to defer it for however long. The only thing that we would ask is in my written response that I made on behalf of Mafiosos, Urban Grub, MODA, we would like to reserve our objection to the fact that we believe the petition is invalid, that it is not properly before the commission. And all we want to do, if you decide to defer it, is to reserve that argument. We just don't want to be deemed to have waived it if we consent to a deferral. That is it. Because we do believe there are very productive discussions going on, and we have some viable solutions that we're working on as a community. So that's really all that we're interested in. But if we have to go forward, we're prepared to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend to all who speak, be sure and sign the register on the table there, and let us know who you are and who you represent. Okay.
Hi. My name is Catherine Moffitt. I live on Gilmore Avenue, and I represent the residents who have submitted this petition to you today. I did contact Diane this morning and ask her to ask you all to make a 1-month deferral to your February meeting to further discuss and also vote on this matter. I would like to address Mr. Dolan's assertion that the petitions are not valid. I don't believe that that is the case. I have seen a copy of his letter. I myself am in the process of pulling tax records and matching up properties with the signatures that we have received. It appears that in some of his calculations, things such as the funeral home on Gilmore looks to be included. One of the properties that's being used as a business is being included. There are several properties that are under construction that are not inhabited currently, and I believe those are being included. And so obviously it's quite impossible for us to get a residential signature on properties that are not inhabited. And so I would certainly ask the commission to keep that in mind as you're evaluating the validity of this petition. I will be preparing some materials to send to Diane to distribute to you showing copies of the petition, who signed, what the tax records say those properties are, and we will show you that we have not only met the 75% on each street, but we have well exceeded that on each street. So.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Let me say the commission is more than willing to hear both sides, and we want to be fair. And my recommendation would be that, and let me explain to you, if we defer it, it automatically comes back to the commission next month. You might want to indefinitely defer it. In the event that you're not ready, then we can defer this for another month, or ever how long it takes for you to be prepared and feel comfortable and bring it back to the commission so we can hear both sides and make our decision and try to work with both parties. And it's sometimes difficult to satisfy both parties and give you all you want, but we'll try to be fair and work with each side. So whatever the recommendation is going to be, I would recommend an indefinite deferral to the commission. But if so, I need a motion. If we're ready to vote, does anyone else want to speak? Okay.
On behalf of the residents, we ask that you do not have an indefinite deferral. We would like to have this addressed. We have asked for deferrals in a good faith effort to work with our merchants, but we are fully prepared to move forward in February and ask you to take a vote on this. So I ask you not to have an indefinite deferral.
Well, for us to be fair, we want to be sure that both sides are ready to make the presentation.
Be ready.
Okay.
And I do ask that
Oh.
we've been waiting for years for this. So
Okay.
We really want to have some.
I understand. Okay, Commissioners, any comments and conversation with Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have a recommendation from the council member. She didn't really say whether or not she wanted to be indefinite or definite, but it would help us a little bit if we had her recommendation. Yes.
It should be Sandra, actually. I'm not technically their council person. I do think indefinite is a little scary for the residents, and I understand that. There's a fair amount of homework that needs to be done. It's possible that, I don't know if you could do 2 months deferrals, and I don't know if that is a compromise, but 2 months may give us enough time to get at least some of the homework done to know if we're going to be able to go down the paths that we want to go to. And I'm not even sure if that's a possibility. I don't know if it's one or indefinite, but 4 weeks may be cutting it close. 8 weeks may give us more time to accomplish what we've talked about.
It appears it's going to be a very good discussion.
Well, some of the issues are zoning and code issues that we just need to, number one, talk to planning and to codes and zoning,
Right.
and begin to get that process going. And I think once that process is in place, then the merchants will know if they're going to be able to expand the spaces that they're speaking of, and the residents will know what we're doing as well. So I think to 8 weeks would give us enough time to know if that's going to happen or not happen. 4 weeks might not quite get us to the point where we know. That's my thought.
Well, indefinite is any period of time. We don't have specified.
Can you explain to the residents what the process is for bringing it back up?
Well,
When it's indefinitely deferred,
oh yes.
how to get back on the agenda?
They will be notified.
They just simply call Julie over there or myself. We've been working with the residents and the business. I see you all the time, or I get letters from you. So they'd contact me,
Oh, okay.
and I'd put it back on the agenda. And just while I've got the microphone, there's a document that everybody keeps referring to called the DNDP, or the plan for the area. I've got a copy of it. It's a very large electronic file. I'm going to send you guys a link. I'll send whoever wants the link to you. It's on planning's website, but I'll just send you the direct link. And that in itself may take you some time to go through. It's a very large document, so when you're...
Chip, when you send that, if you can direct them to page 42, I think it is, that actually deals with parking.
When it
That
comes
may-
to your area directly.
4041, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. That may speed up some time. So I'm going to step away from the mic, but 2 months to me seems reasonable. I'll let y'all continue the discussion.
I've got one question. What does that put the original request? Because the original request was from the residents to have permanent parking. So if we do indefinite deferral, it could be any amount of time that they come back with a compromise, but where does that put them on their original request, I guess is my question. That kind of puts them in limbo, right, for an indefinite amount of time.
It is, but the original request is from, I don't see where you got off to, but Miss Moffitt. And so it would be her that would contact us, ready to be put back on the agenda. It is her original request at this point. And so it's up to her to be on the agenda. And so if you say indefinite, she could come back in a month and put it back on the agenda.
So there's nothing that stops her from coming back within that 30 days to put her original request back on the agenda.
She's the original requestee, if you will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I
Yeah.
wanted to know
if we
Who
go
makes
in
that
there,
call,
who's going to make the call? If it's on the merchants, we could be another 6 months, and that's unfair to
That is her-
To the residents, exactly,
residents.
yeah.
She can request, it is her original request, and so she's kind of leading this train at this point as far as leaving it off 6 months or 1 month. Now, at that, taking it that way, she wants you to have all the weapons you need to make a decision, but it's her call as far as this particular
But
request.
she ultimately has the ability to come back
Yes.
and put it before us, and then we can go ahead and make action on the vote.
Right, correct.
I have a question for the attorney, and on it, what part of this petition are you suggesting is invalid?
Our position, as I've stated in the letter that I
I don't
filed,
think we got that letter, did we?
Yeah.
We don't.
There was a copy of it. You're on now.
it's a six-page letter.
It's going around, okay, all right.
And
That just came in, I understand today. Our commissioners have not had a chance to review this.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it right there.
And with, what our position is we do not believe that as presented, the petition as filed with traffic and parking with the staff meets the Metro ordinance requirements of the 75% of the affected residents, as well as the validation of the Tennessee driver's license numbers and the vehicle registration numbers, which are required under the Metro ordinance in which you guys are operating under. That's our technical argument. We don't believe that the petition is filed, and we don't believe that Council Member Moore had submitted a written recommendation along with that petition. There's some technical, that's really what we were arguing in that. So that's what we just don't want to waive with respect to deferral. And I hope that answers your question.
It does, but it sort of puts us in a quandary because it seems to be, however we rule, this is a hold card. So I guess the question goes to legal at this point. I mean, it seems as if however we rule, they're saying that the petition is invalid. So where does that put us? Are we back to waiting to see?
I think the merits of the petition could be deferred along with the issue being deferred. So to the extent that you guys do vote to defer, you would take up the issue of any procedural defects with the petition on the date that you take it back up.
And I would agree with that as well, for what it's worth. Also, the positive here is that, contrary to what I've heard at this meeting, another one, the merchants are actively working with the residents. You got to remember, we didn't find out about this until September 6th, 6 days before the Veterans Day meeting this was scheduled to be heard on in full. So we have acted pretty quickly, and we have worked got the council members involved, got with the residents. We just had a meeting this past Saturday. We are working on some very positive things. Those things are negotiating new leases with multiple merchants to grab some land there that's being vacant for over 10, 15 years that we may make into parking, but we're going to need some concessions from the codes department in order to affect that. That's why we've asked each of the council members to assist us with that, as well as we have some zoning problems with some vacant land just outside the CS designation on 12th that could be utilized for parking lots. And we believe those solutions, all of us, residents and merchants alike, believe that will create some additional parking, off-street parking, that will help alleviate some of the issues that have arisen. So that's why we think a 1-month deferral is certainly not going to be enough time. We'll be having this same discussion in 30 days, but I think at least 2 indefinite is fine as well. But we just wanted you to understand where we were in that process. So there is an ongoing dialogue, and we would like to pursue that because we think we can find a solution that will accommodate all the constituencies. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Chip, so if she brings it back next month, we say indefinite, she brings it back, but they're not ready, how long is this going to go on?
Well, indefinite or 1 month or 6 months, you guys are the deciding body, and if you're waiting on a piece of information, you can defer next month even if she brings it back. If she wants to bring it back in 1 month or 3 months, like again, she's the original requesting person, so it's really going through her. The reason we keep deferring is to give you guys all the information you can possibly have to make the right decision. And so you can make a decision today if you wanted to. I hate to give you a vague answer, but her deferring it another month or 6 months is all. You may not have any more information, you may have more information. It's just, we're really hoping they work it out themselves instead of putting it in your guys' laps, what we're trying to do.
Any more comments?
I have some comments. I have concerns of Mr. Dolan's letter in reading through it. I have real concerns about the tone of the letter, that not only does it question how the residents went about doing this process, but it actually questions the whole staff procedure of this process, which I have real concerns about. Because we have voted on permit parking in this commission several times before, and the residents have followed this process, and it's been verified by Ms. Marshall. So I have real concerns about the tone that's been struck by Mr. Dolan for this, and calling into question staff as well as the residents. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I think it's evident to me in the letter, even if the petitions are valid and they come back and approve this, I think Mr. Dolan is against permit parking whether they meet the criteria or not. So I think he's looking to try to pursue additional action if his particular view does not prevail. That seems to be my observation today.
One last time, I'm fixing to close the public hearing.
Okay, just a couple of points. First of all, I did want to say that for each person that signed the petition, we did collect their driver's license number and their tag number, and that was submitted to Ms. Marshall. So I'm sure that for those folks who asked for copies of the petitions, I'm assuming that information was not released since it is privacy issues, but that was filed by us for each person. Second of all, we are willing to defer for 2 months. We feel very strongly that permit parking has to be a part of the puzzle. I don't see a way that we can have a vibrant neighborhood that continues to protect the residential feel of our neighborhood without permit parking, even if additional lots are built. The reason why we've been deferring is because we are trying to work in a good faith effort with the merchants to identify places where their customers can park in order to mitigate the impact that the residential permit parking would have on their businesses. We certainly don't want to see, our actions be detrimental to their businesses, but we do feel very strongly that as our neighborhood continues to grow, the permit parking is the only way for us to protect our property values, protect the safety of our families, and protect the integrity of our neighborhood. So, but we are happy if the body feels like they can give us a 2-month deferment, and we will continue to work closely with the merchants to help them get whatever variances they need our support on, and continue to work to identify those places where we can put in additional customer parking in our neighborhood.
Let me ask you a question. And the funeral home is being included in this? Because I think
yes,
before this ever, that was the issue we had before this was brought before the commission, that the funeral home was included.
They have been to our meetings, and they are on the task force, and yes, they have been in the discussions, and we are trying to work closely with them as well.
And so, from where you sit, you're willing to make the concession of a 2-month deferral as opposed to an indefinite deferral.
That's what I would ask this commission to do, please, yes.
Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing.
I make a motion.
Commissioners, you've heard both sides, and I now request a motion.
I make a motion that we defer this to, which will then be our March meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so approved. This will be on the agenda in the March meeting. We thank each of you for being here, and we'll see you in March. And good luck in the meantime, working it out. Councilman, is she here? We have Council Lady Jacobia Dowell in our audience. Council Lady, would you come to the lectern?
Sure, thank you.
Let me give you a little, give the commissioners, understand that she is going to, she's not on the agenda, but she did request that we hear her in regard to the megabus. and we agreed to give her 5 minutes to make a brief presentation, and at which time no action by this commission will be taken.
Thank you, and I probably
Absolutely.
won't need to take the entire 5 minutes. Excuse me, I'm kind of under the weather today. But I am coming to you on behalf of a lot of constituents out in my district that have contacted me, as well as others who have emailed to the Metro Council on behalf of the mega bus stop. I was aware a few months ago, I guess it was last year, that the Traffic and Parking Commission made the decision to terminate the stop that was located downtown in our city. Excuse me. Since that time, I've had a lot of people contact me. More recently, because the stop has been relocated to the Nolensville Pike between Wingrove Street and Moore Avenue. Most of you know that area is the fairground. There's not a lot out at the fairground. People have contacted me from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different positions on this. But the overall request is that we immediately reconsider finding a location downtown within our city that we can have as a stop for those visitors and those neighbors out in our district and throughout Nashville that utilize the megabus service. I assume all of you are familiar with the megabus service, so I won't go into detail about that. Some of the things that have been brought out to me is that many students in our community take advantage of the megabus. Having the location downtown, the stop, actually provide a convenient way for them to use mass transit to get down to the stop and also take the bus and go to their destination. As you know, we have a lot of colleges around the downtown area, and it's convenient for people on the perimeter who attend school to come downtown and take the bus. Additionally, a lot of people would take it as visitors. Several people have contacted me and said that they've used the megabus as a way to tourism, to come down and see our city. And we're one of the few cities whose stop is not downtown. Just recently, a lady shared with me comments that she was just really, outdone by where they let her out. It was out on the field, she said. It seemed very unsafe. It was dark, and it definitely doesn't promote what we're saying about Nashville being a thriving city and a it place. She came to our city for tourism, and getting off at this stop definitely didn't bode well for the city and promote tourism. I think that we have a real opportunity. I promote mass transit, any type of mass transit, and I also promote Nashville. I do think that when people visit our city, we need to put our best foot forward, letting them out in an area that is undergoing massive changes right now, that's not really vibrant at the time, and there's not a lot of business and action going on there. It's probably not the best place to bring visitors into our city. I don't know what the process is, because I do know that Megabus is privately owned, but I do know that we as metropolitan government and officers, that we can make a decision to allow them to have a permit, to have a place to go, and let the people visiting our cities, people in our community that utilize the Megabus to get off in a safer location, a more lit location, a location where there are people around, where there's businesses around, and it doesn't require them to take another modal of transportation to get to the center of the city. So that's why I'm here talking with you today. I know a lot of people have a little misconception about Megabus. If you've traveled anywhere outside of the United States, then you would know that in Europe, it's one of the most popular modals of transportation, especially for people visiting a lot of the European cities. And it's mostly used by a lot of professional people there, a lot of seniors, and it's really a wonderful way of getting around and visiting a city at a low cost, and it's pretty safe and pretty convenient. So with that being said, I'm just asking you to work with the Megabus officials, and let's do this quickly. Let's look and find a place that we can allow them to use as a place to stop, and people can use the transit system and get off and visit our city. But I think we need to, not let this linger on at the location that it's at, that we should move pretty quickly on working with them to find a better location. I have some suggestions that I can submit and from people out in the district and throughout the community that I'll share with you. But that is my request, and that's why I'm here today, and I thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you. You know, we tried to impress on the megabus people when they were here before us that it's not up to this commission to find them a place. They are a private firm. They find the location. But if it's on a public street and it's involved with us, then it comes back before us for the approval for that particular location. But if they can find an off-street location, some terminal or whatever, then it's up to them to do that, and not to this commission.
Right. Thank you. I'll submit some suggestions to them and the commission for consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we move on to our regular agenda. Did commissioners have any comments on this? Really, we're not supposed to deliberate it. We just gave her the courtesy to make a comment, so we'll move on. And a new business proposal 2013M-001AB-001, a request to abandon a portion of Ransom Avenue between Byron Avenue and Richardson Avenue, requested by Anderson, Epps, and Associates. Are there anyone here that wishes to speak to that? Okay, if not, this will be by hand vote. Do I have any discussion from the commissioners?
Is there a staff report or anything on it?
Pardon?
A staff report, or what's the background on this?
Well, these are all consent abandonment.
This is only
But
consent
I can go
agenda.
through it if you want. Now,
No, this is not on the consent agenda, is it?
Yeah.
the abandonment is, the relocation of the always stop that's coming up next, which is related to the abandonment, is not. And so if I can go through those real quick if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
Corby, you got that slide you showed me earlier? See the corner of, right above these two red octagons or whatever those things are called, there's this parcel that's getting redeveloped. What you see now labeled as Ransom Avenue, that's what is proposed today to be abandoned and closed. And it'll actually be relocated to your right, to the east, and there'll be a new Ransom Avenue, if you will. So the old Ransom Avenue, the right-of-way for that will be abandoned, and it'll go back to the property owners and the development. So new business item number 1 is to make a recommendation regarding the abandonment of current right-of-way related to Ransom Avenue. Now, number 2, that always stop that you see to the left at the end of current Ransom Avenue, that is proposed to be removed and relocated to the east to the new Ransom Avenue. No big deal on paper, no big deal to us, but it could be, and that's why I wanted to not leave it consent. It could be a big deal to these people that live at that housing area right there to the south. I wanted to keep it open for public input. We notified them, and apparently there's no input. So our recommendation is to abandon the right-of-way and relocate the always stop. And it's consent, but it's not really consent. I just wanted to give the forum open microphone.
I'd like to this time take both of these, 1 and 2. It's on the same vote because they are connected. Okay. Any more discussion? Any comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. This will be by hand vote. Right, hand vote on okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-4. Okay. Proposal number 3, 2013M-002AB-001, a request to abandon a portion of Division Street and Broadway, easements to be abandoned and relocated, adjacent to properties located at 204 21st Avenue South and 203 579 Division Street, requested by Little John Engineering. I understand we have someone here from Little John. Did you like to speak?
Just if you have any questions.
Okay.
Could you bring up the slide for that, Chip?
That's it
I just
there.
had a question when I got the agenda. So is it this entire little triangle there?
Yes, that triangle.
That's where
yeah.
dry clean or something?
No, my understanding, that's just kind of almost like a tiny little park, for lack of a better phrase.
Correct.
And so what is the intention? I'm just trying to make sure, what's going to happen to this space if it's abandoned? Is it going to be part of the
listen to
street or what?
This will be a very weak answer, but we look at this, this body right here looks at it, do we need this for traffic flow and for parking? And when we answer those questions with a no, we recommend approval. Now, other bodies, planning commission, other commissions might look at it from, what are you going to do with this? And that's probably better answered by this gentleman.
Well, the sketch you are showing right there is not the area that we requested in our submittal. It includes a portion of it, but the Division Street is actually continues below that little triangle over to the buildings. The right-of-way comes along the front of the buildings. And so I can pass this around, but this is what we've submitted as the area we want to abandon.
Because I would think yours is in, the area you want abandoned is it in front of the building?
Right.
Okay.
In a portion of the triangle you're showing there, but we have proposed a development that went through Planning Commission recently as a specific plan for the parcels that are on the bottom part of the page and around down toward Grand Avenue, but not quite all the way.
Okay.
And that site plan submittal includes the project extends over into that right-of-way, so the properties would encompass that end portion of the division. Our project included a detailed traffic study and proposed improvements for the Division Broadway intersection and the 21st Broadway intersection that Public Works reviewed and approved and commented on with our SP, but all the other comments is incorporated into our SP.
Good.
I just have a question. So is that little green area then going to become Division Street? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
The green area will kind of go away. It'll be part of the Broadway right-of-way.
Okay, you'll be part
There'll
of
be a turn lane on the northbound 21st Broadway to turn into Division. Division will still come out kind of in a little sharp curve like it does now. But currently there is a kind of an escape route that's what we're wanting to abandon.
Yes, that's
that goes out Division toward the roundabout, and instead of going through that, because we would abandon and take that into our property, you would go up and there would be a dedicated right turn lane.
okay.
It's kind of in that green area.
All right. I just want to make sure I was clear. So is this the Lagasse or the Lagasse property that's being developed?
The gas, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more comments or questions? The commission is ready to vote.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve and second. All in favor? No, we have to vote on this one by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 4.
Thank you.
So approved. Thank you very much. Did you sign the sign-in sheet?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Before we get to other items on our consent agenda, are there anyone else here that wishes to be heard in our audience? Okay.
Resolution.
Pardon?
On the next resolution, I don't know if that's what you meant.
Okay.
On this one, I guess.
Resolution 113.
Yeah.
Okay, which item did you want to hear?
The
And we'll-
one-way stop on Blair and Chesterfield, just briefly.
On Blair and Chesterfield? Okay. We'll pull that from our consent agenda and hear that separate, if it pleases commission, okay?
I'm okay. I have some questions about that as well.
Okay. I'll tell you, we'll just go ahead and hear you now.
All right.
Okay? Just come to the lectern and tell us who you are and
My name's Hunter Moore. I live at 2115 Natchez Trace. I'm a board member of the Hillsborough West End Neighborhood Association. I'm the chairman of the Traffic and Parking Committee, and we are in favor of this. Last year, we made a broad effort to identify the major traffic and parking issues or concerns of the neighborhood, and this was one of our top priorities based on the members of the committee as well as email we sent out via our listserv. Issues of speeding, of lack of visibility, of cars coming around the curve where Chesterfield and Blair come together, concerns of pedestrians, parents with young children, issues also having to do with sidewalks, which are not in place at this time on Chesterfield, but which are in the process of being built. So all of those made this a primary concern. And so we're very much in favor of of creating a three-way stop here at Blair, Chesterfield, and Sharondale to the left, going toward the other way. Mm-hmm. Keep going. There you go. Down. Keep going to your left.
Right there where that split is.
Where that Y is. That's where those three streets come together, and there's a new subdivision being built there called the Chesterfield with 40 plus new single-family homes that will be adding traffic to that intersection as well. And we believe this is a really good solution to this problem. So we are strongly in favor of that. The board itself voted unanimously in support of the priorities that we identified. And I just also want to take the opportunity to thank Metro Public Works and their staff for working closely with us this year on our concerns, and just take the opportunity to compliment them on their sensitivity and willingness to hear our concerns, not only with this issue, but with the West Linden problems that we had with central parking that got a lot of publicity earlier in the year, and that were solved in the end by central parking being sold and moving a lot of their staff to Chicago, unfortunately. But that solved the parking problem. But Metro Public Works really worked hard to find a solution there, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to say they're doing a great job, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Since this is part of the consent agenda, we'll vote on this one along with the other three, unless it's...
I have a quick question. I know I go up and down the street, 10 times a week. There is a pretty significant curve in the road. I know this new development's coming out. They're going to have, is there, I can't tell from this map, is their entrance coming out going to be part of the kind of the four-way stop? I know that's kind of a private in and out. It's a private drive technically.
Yeah, Corby, zoom in just a little bit at that split. First of all, thank you for the comments about Public Works. We appreciate working with people like you. We get too few and far between.
Yes.
What they're going to try to do is, it's going to be impossible. We're going to try to put more of a 90-degree feel to this intersection.
Okay.
And by putting in some sidewalks, like you said, and bringing the curb out. And yes, the new development will have a driveway, and it'll be controlled with the always stop.
Okay. That's just what
slowing down traffic is not going to be easy, because it's just Eastland and Porter all over again, if you guys remember that one. But that's what we're coming up with, an always stop.
Okay. Well, I agree. I think this is a good solution to this particular problem, particularly with the improvements that are going to be made in the roadway.
Okay. On Resolution 113, we have three other items. Do you want to take all these at one time, or do you want to pull?
Yes, please.
Okay. First one, remove and relocate stop sign on 7th Avenue South and Peabody Street. Authorize no parking will stand on both sides of Lee Avenue from 4th Avenue South to 5th Avenue South, and authorize always stop on South 6th Street at Crutcher Street. We just discussed always stop at Blair and Chesterfield, and we can voice vote. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Have a motion? Second? Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. So approved. And along with the consent agenda, we have parking reports and engineering reports. Any discussion on those? And can I have a motion on those? Second?
I second.
And all in favor? So approved. Other business, future conversion of 5th Avenue from one-way to two-way. Staff?
I need
report.
about 30 seconds every time. We're gonna, over the next month or two, I'm gonna bring before you a recommendation to convert Fifth Avenue back to two-way. We're gonna get with the merchants, all the stakeholders are gonna be involved before this is all said and done, but with the new convention center, with the emphasis on mass transit, and the BRT, Fifth Avenue of the Arts, I don't know if you're familiar with all those things, but I'll present them to you. Just a heads up, be thinking about what if Fifth Avenue were to be converted from one-way to two-way.
From where to where now?
Now, this is going to be from Lafayette all the way to James Robertson.
Okay, along there between Commerce and Dedrick.
All the way.
We've got a lot of loading zones there that serve those businesses. Are we going to be able to accommodate these businesses when we do this?
That is part of our study, but yes, sir.
Okay, just be sure all that's included.
To keep that, we probably will lose a travel lane. But yes, our objective is to keep all that.
Okay.
We can't lose the loading zones, I agree with you.
Right. Okay, any other comments? Commissioner Moran called earlier. He's under the weather today. And we have a replacement in his chair. And we hope that he's feeling better. He's under the weather today. Thank everyone for being here, participation. I think we had a good meeting. Any other comments? Okay, our next meeting will be February the 11th. Same place, same time. And do I have a motion? We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That is approved.